Sometimes when I'm driving on the road at night, I see two headlights coming toward me. Fast, I have this sudden impulse to turn the wheel quickly, head on into the oncoming car.
Right. Well, I have to go now, Dwayne, because I'm due back on the planet Earth.
Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I think that clip pretty much explains how a lot of
Hoosiers
must be feeling on another planet, having no idea what's going on with their
Hoosiers.
So we decided to use some quintessential New York movies to help us explain what's going on, or to put it into New Yorkers' terms, what the fuck is going on with my
Hoosiers.
Let's start by looking at Mike Woodson's foundation on both offense and defense. Currently
Hoosiers,
ranked
109th
overall on offense, a far cry from
28th
last year. A big reason is the lack of three-point shooting, where they've gone from setting records last year to taking less threes and more inefficient mid-range shots. A big issue I've always had with their offense is how stagnant it is. In the pick and roll, they're
326th.
and Walton has been playing injured. That's only part of the issue. Coach Woodson has
Hoosiers
running a ton of their pick and rolls out top with no movement first, right into the teeth of the defense, where they're set in an easy position to defend. It makes me wonder if this is the scene in the locker room when Woodson draws up his plays.
Draw something resembling anything.
Because there's so much standing around watching, it hurts their transition defense, prompting me to wonder what
Malik
Lola would say if Woodson ever asked him to isolate less.
You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me?
Their lone bright spot on offense, if you could call it that, is posting up. But the offense is just way too slow to materialize, and it seems as if certain players are unfamiliar with the offense they're running. You tend to see
Galloway or Malik.
having to point out where their teammates should be moving. Hey, I'm all for being deliberate, but with the shot clock a factor, it just leaves less time for
Malik
to do his thing in the post, where he ends up rushing it.
I would never want to belong to any club that would have someone like me for a member.
And that describes Woodson, who played for Bobby Knight, and the fact that he has to associate himself with his own team's poorest transition defense. Part of it has to do with their poor three-point shooting, which leaves them vulnerable to fast breaks, but a lot has to do with lack of hustle. Now, let's look at a huge pet peeve of mine, helping one pass away.
Hoosiers
So consistently do this that I'm starting to think this is by design. Helping one pass away is such an easy play for an offense to get an open three that it's troubling to me if Woodson's staff is teaching to do this. One needs only imagine that with a bigger sample size, their ranking will plummet.
What kind of idiots do you have working here?
The finest in New York.
The
Hoosiers
Knicks also have a fouling problem, ranking
200th.
in opponents' free throw attempts. They have some players that have a reputation for fouling, plus they allow lots of middle penetration, which puts undue pressure on a defender to foul before allowing an easy shot. When you look at their five-man lineups, there doesn't seem to be rhyme nor reason as to why one particular group is successful when another isn't.
Cups.
Is in the second best group and also their third worst group.
Galloway
Is in their best lineup, but also in their third worst. It is worth noting that their most used lineup by far has a healthy net rating, combining both good offense and defense. So, through
25.
games, what is wrong with
Hoosiers
well,
A relationship, I think, is like a shark. You know, it has to constantly move forward or it dies. And I think what we got on our hands is a dead shark.
so there you have it, sports fans. It remains to be seen what's going to happen to the next 9, 10, or 15 games. The schedule for them isn't crazy bad, but let's face it, they're really behind the eight ball no matter who they play, and it's not clear that Woodson can survive